Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to race number 15 of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Burger King 400 at a brand new racetrack to the series, South Carolina Speedway, as we are getting set for 30 laps of racing at this 2-mile restrictor plate racetrack. That's going to be quite interesting to see how the racing goes. And with that being said, let's actually take a look at the top 10 in the points coming into the race today. So after our last race at Rockingham, Matt McIntyre took the points lead over, and he leads by 13 points over Cole Deaver. Third is Rob Evans, fourth Trent Dunham, fifth James McLeod, sixth is our pole sitter for today, Jessica Sheldon, seventh is last week's winner, Jonathan Zorleen, 8th, Jake Baskinger, 9th, Caleb Kilburn, and then 10th, Cody Lamas. So that is how the top 10 in the point standings look coming into the race today. Now, the typical thing I keep forgetting to do whenever I discuss the points, who was the biggest jumper, or the biggest winner and the biggest loser in the points after the previous race? And the big winner was Jake Rogers, who moved up from 27th to 19th in the point standings. And the big loser was Tim Fiegel, who fell from 31st to 38th in the points. So that is a look at how the point standings look coming into the race today. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today. Starting in the last row is Tim Fiegel and Jonathan Zorleen. Top 10, Jessica Sheldon, the home state girl, starting on the pole with Dylan Jacobs right next to her. Row 2 is Cody Lamas and Logan Bradley. Row 3, Matt McIntyre and Cole Baker. Row 4, Michael Norman, Phil Parker, and then Row 5, James McLeod and Zachary Fitzwater. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the Burger King 400 at South Carolina.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers on the racetrack. Now, this is going to be a rather interesting race because this is a 2-mile restrictor plate racetrack. And yes, in case you were wondering, we are back to the restrictor plate racing package we've been running all season for Talladega, Daytona, tracks like that, etc. CTS physics and the no CFTF EXE. So I'm going to be curious to see how this race turns out. Now, from the looks of the racetrack, as far as the width of the racetrack, it looks like 3 wide is going to be the best way to go. 4 wide would be very, very close and really, really pushing it. But we'll see how the racing turns out as we're getting ready to get the green flag as the pace car is pulled into pit road. And ladies and gentlemen, boogity, 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 let's go racing. Looks like it was Cody Lamas who led the first lap, taking that lead from Jessica Sheldon, but now here comes the points leader, Matt McIntyre, underneath to take the lead for himself, but he goes up to block Cody Lamas, but leaves that bottom open for Michael Norman, who won the Daytona 500 at the start of the season. He's now up to the race lead. So yeah, it looks like they're going to be relatively double wide most of the race. I haven't seen much in the way of 3-wide racing so far, though that could all change in an instant, depending on what these drivers are going to be going for. Norman leads that lap, but now McLeod has the race lead. Now, big announcement in that second place driver, Joshua Collard. Even though he won the All-Star race back at Armory Digital a couple of weeks ago, he will not be coming back next season. In fact, he's offered to give up his spot for next season to a newcomer who will be coming into the series next season, which is actually going to be a rookie named Jesse Turner, who's going to be taking Collard's spot for a ride next season, even though now most of the rides have been filled for Season 7, but things can change depending on what people want to do. But anyways, Collard did lead that lap, funny enough, as I was speaking about him, but now Anthony McCrory has the race lead, and right behind him is Carson Gum in the 19. And McCrory got to lead that lap, and speaking of McCrory, I think I may have mentioned this in a race recently, but this is going to be his farewell season, at least for a while, depending on if he wants to come back. Quite a few drivers actually are going to be stepping away after this season. McCrory, McLeod, Baskinger, Collard. Quite a number of drivers who have been veterans of this series and series in general on this channel are going to be stepping away after this season. Oh, we got a crash! Jay Jefferson got turned into the wall, and by some miracle, we get away with just a single car spin, which Jefferson does get a little bit of damage. I don't know if it's going to affect his drive or not, but he somehow, someway gets away with very little damage. Even though it looked like, actually with not as bad of damage as I anticipated, but as a result of all that, Benjamin Miles managed to get up to the race lead as a result of everything, and how we managed to get away with just a one-car spin is beyond me. But Benjamin Miles is the race leader, so let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today here at South Carolina Speedway. Well, here's a look at what happened. So it looks like 3 wide around, I want to say about the 15th position on the racetrack. And it looks like right there, Kyle Matthews sort of gets into Jay Jefferson a little bit, which forced him up into Matt McIntyre. And Kyle Matthews actually gets a little bit of contact and actually hit the outside wall pretty good. And then minor contact for both Cole Deaver and Tim Fiegel. But somehow, some way, and look at all the drivers on the racetrack do a great job avoiding the 87 and everybody being on their toes as far as what to do to avoid all this. But Jay Jefferson, yeah, just a little bit of damage right there on the right side of the car from the contact, and then just kisses the wall a little bit with that right or left front fender. But I think if he can get to pit road and just get in there to fix that and get back out on the racetrack before he gets lapped, he might still have a chance at getting a good finish. And luckily, some miracle, we get away with just a one-car spin, and nobody else ended up with severe damage. So, big relief on our part right there. But Benjamin Miles is the race leader. Let's take you to the restart here at South Carolina Speedway. Well, no cars out of the race, all 40 drivers still on the racetrack and running, hopefully up to speed. But anyways, when we go green, it'll be 21 laps to go. Benjamin Miles is the race leader, at least for the time being. Meanwhile, in second, we have Melissa Alexander, and right behind in third is her husband, Joey Parkhill. Could they work together when we get back to racing, or are they going to challenge each other? Meanwhile, fourth is Rafael LeDuc. Fifth is Anthony McCrory. Sixth is Trent Dunham. Seventh, Dylan Poteet. Eighth, Carson Gum. Ninth, Jake Rogers. 10th, Joshua Collard. 11th, Dylan Young. 12th, Caleb Kilburn. 13th, James McLeod. 14th, Michael Norman. 15th, James Shelley. 16th, Cody Lamas. 17th is Jessica Sheldon. 18th is Tim Fiegel. 19th, Rob Evans. 20th, Seth Cole. 21st, DJ Curtis. 22nd, Johnny Gardner. 23rd, Charles Sanford. 24th, Dylan Jacobs. 25th, Zachary Fitzwater. 26th is Jonathan Zorline. 27th, Logan Bradley. 28th, Bradley Zordrager. 29th, Cole Baker. And then 30th, Baskinger. And then it's Phil Parker, Emmanuel Hartnett, Jordan Forbes, Chris Dollarton, James Qualls, Joshua Sekuli, Cole Deaver, Kyle Matthews, Jay Jefferson, Matt McIntyre on the racetrack. And we're back underway, and it looked like perhaps Matthews and Jefferson came into the pits to fix their damage, and it looks like they got it repaired, but are they going to be up to speed or not is the question. It looks like they are. They just had to restart so far in the back from everything that occurred, but meanwhile, Melissa Alexander now takes over the race lead. Melissa Alexander, one of the top rookies of the season so far. I believe she's the third highest rookie in the point standings. Came into this race 14th in points, and she has a win under her belt back at Sonoma in total domination, but hasn't had much luck everywhere else. Meanwhile, up to the lead, Dylan Poteet tried to clear Anthony McCurry. Now he does, but in turn left the bottom open for actually teammates at a JR Empire Motorsports. Jake Rogers and Joshua Collard were working together, but now... And the caution is back out again. Oh, and we got a big crash! Huge crash! Multi-car accident on the front stretch that ends up taking out so many cars. Dylan Jacobs was in it. Kyle Matthews gets caught up in another accident. Baskinger was in it. It looks like Sekuli, Curtis, Qualls, Sandford, whose bad seasons continue. Trying to see if anyone else got damaged. Matt McIntyre with damage. Looks like Emmanuel Hartnett with big-time damage on his car. And I think that's it. Or no, there's a couple others with damage. Looks like Shelley with damage, Fitzwater. Quite a number of cars ended up getting some damage as a result of whatever just took place on the front stretch. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the second time today here at South Carolina. Well, it looks like this might be a similar situation to what happened during the first caution. Watch DJ Curtis in the 4. It looks like a little bit of contact with Johnny Gardner that forced the 4 up the track into James Shelley, but unlike what we saw earlier, unfortunately, this ends up collecting more cars that end up getting blocked. But right there, it looked like the 03 of Sanford just hit the inside wall a ton. Curtis gets turned around. Fiegel ends up getting involved as he gets damaged. And then suddenly something happens up here that causes a second crash. Oh, let's watch the 70 of James Qualls. Oh, he gets into the back of Cole Baker, and then he panics, comes down into Jordan Forbes, and then the track ends up getting blocked as a result of something that took place right here. Phil Parker actually was involved, and I had no idea. Jordan Forbes with some damage as well, but yeah, it looked like Qualls, he was trying to slow down, but didn't see the 18 after going through some smoke, gets into the 18, and then that's how this second crash begins. That ends up damaging quite a number of race cars. Cole Deaver and Matt McIntyre, the top 2 in points, actually got involved together. So that's going to be big for the point standings. But let's watch what happens to Charles Sanford, because I think he hit the wall pretty hard. First contact with DJ Curtis, then he slides and slides. Oh yeah, pretty hard lick into that inside concrete wall. Driver's side first. And that completely destroyed his car, and then he gets more damage from when James Shelley slides down into him. And then there you see the chaos ensuing after the fact. So yeah, we're going to have quite a number of cars perhaps off the pace, and quite a good chunk of them are probably going to be done for today. Jay Jefferson, I think, managed to get through with no damage. So, good break on the part of the 87, but let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at South Carolina. Well, we got the bottom 5 determined now for this week. The bottom 5 who will not be getting points are Zachary Fitzwater, Kyle Matthews, Dylan Jacobs, Charles Sanford, and Emmanuel Hartnett. So, tough break for a lot of those guys, especially Sanford, who has just not had anything go his way the last couple of seasons. But as far as the leaderboard right now, we got teammates up here at the front from JR Empire Motorsports. Jake Rogers leading, second Joshua Collard, third Dylan Poteet, fourth is Caleb Kilburn, fifth, or did I say 14th? I meant fourth is Caleb Kilburn, fifth is Anthony McCrory, sixth is Michael Norman, seventh is Melissa Alexander, eighth James McLeod, ninth Benjamin Miles, 10th is Jessica Sheldon, 11th is Joey Parkhill, 12th is Dylan Young, 13th Rafael Leduc, 14th Rob Evans, 15th Trent Dunham, 16th Cody Lamas, 17th Carson Gum, 18th Johnny Gardner, 19th DJ Curtis, 20th Tim Fiegel, 21st Seth Cole, 22nd is Jonathan Zorline, 23rd Logan Bradley, 24th Bradley Zorgdragger, 25th Jordan Forbes, 26th is Phil Parker, 27th is Chris Dollarton, 28th Jay Jefferson, 29th Matt McIntyre, 30th Cole Baker, and then James Shelley, Joshua Sekuli, James Qualls, Cole Deaver, Jake Baskinger, and we're back underway here at South Carolina Speedway. Jake Rogers managed to get a pretty good jump on that restart, but here comes Dylan Poteet to maybe make some noise for himself. Also forgot to mention, now we're halfway through this debut race here at South Carolina. So far the racing's been good, but it seems like whenever they go 3 wide, things just end really, really badly. Because both of the cautions we've had so far today have been because of 3 wide racing. Poteet led that lap, but here comes McCrory back to the picture. And they are 3 wide. Sheldon gets stuck in the middle now. Not where she wants to be, but it looks like they're able to handle this on the back stretch. It's for some reason on the front stretch we see the wrecks happen. So let's stay with the 0-2 of Sheldon and keep an eye on her and see if we're going to get a wreck or not coming off of turn 4 here. Miraculously, no. But Sheldon's still just stuck in the middle, and she's trying to figure out which lane she wants to get into. It looks like she's perhaps trying to get into the outside lane, but Jake Rogers is right there in the way. Meanwhile, back up here at the front, Joey Parkhill has the race lead, at least for the time being, and now Trent Dunham, who has had quite a breakthrough season. He comes into this race 4th in points, has been up on an uphill battle to get up to the points lead. As right now he thought about going low to take the lead from Parkhill, but Cody Lamas had his nose underneath, and here comes Cody Lamas. Lamas has had a pretty good season so far, 10th in the point standings. But he's still looking for that first win of the season, and it's going to be 3 wide for the lead. Johnny Gardner, he's now to that spot with help from Carson Gum. But man, you got to wonder if these guys are going to be playing it safe and not cause a crash. Oh my God! Caleb Kilburn just hit the inside wall hard. And he continues to spin, but we're still green because they wrecked. Oh, now the caution is out. Caution is out because the 99 ended up stopping because his car is destroyed and he just teleported to pit road. Caution comes out once again, and the 99 took one of the hardest hits I think I've ever seen in the history of this channel. That was brutal. Right there, like he almost hit the end of the pit wall. And a couple cars. Oh, there's another crash! Trent Dunham gets turned by Jordan Forbes, and they come back up into traffic. Jake Rogers gets into it. James McLeod, Michael Norman. Oh, and there's going to be more contact. We had another crash just take place. I don't know if Melissa Alexander was caught up in it, but she's slow. Let's see whenever they show the camera, if we get a camera shot of the left or the right side of the car. No, it looks like she got through. She just got held up was all. Man, oh man. Couple of hard hits we just saw right there. And Logan Bradley now has the race lead. Let's take a look and see what brought the caution out for the third time today here at South Carolina. Another case of being at the wrong place at the wrong time off a turn 4-3 wide. But this time, actually, Caleb Kilburn, I don't know if he came down or got turned by Benjamin Miles, but regardless, Caleb ends up taking a brutal hit into the inside wall. And in fact, let's actually rewind, go to helicopter view, and let's see if he was turned or if he came down. Let's watch the 22. No, the 22 just flat out turned the 99. I don't know what was that all about, but wow, 212 miles an hour into a concrete wall. That was brutal. Vicious, vicious hit. And if the wrecking wasn't over with right there, let's fast forward and watch what happens. Yeah, the same thing happened right here. It looked like Jordan Forbes, he comes up and turns Trent Dunham this time. And I don't know what this was all about, but they make contact, and then Trent Dunham, I mean, they almost had it saved here, but then as Forbes comes back on the racetrack, turns Trent Dunham, and then Trent Dunham also takes a hard hit, about 190 miles an hour into the concrete, and then gets turned again, and then Jordan Forbes ends up damaged, and then they come back up the racetrack and collect the 56, the 51, and among others who end up running into everything. So we had two separate wrecks happen within a lap of each other. So drivers aren't really doing much give and take out there. So things are going to have to be changed whenever we come back to this track later. I do like this track. It's just a matter of driver etiquette, it seems, that's going on right now. But we're going to go ahead and take you to the restart here at South Carolina. Well, we got three more cars that are done for today, and they include Jordan Forbes, Trent Dunham, and Caleb Kilburn. But luckily, they're going to still be scored points. 32 cars on the racetrack, but about, I would say, a quarter of those cars are not up to speed. Logan Bradley is the race leader. Second is Bradley Zorgdrager. Third is Joshua Collard. Fourth, Dylan Young. Fifth is Seth Cole. Sixth is Carson Gumbs. Seventh is Johnny Gardner. Eighth, Cody Lamas. Ninth is Phil Parker. 10th is Jonathan Zorline. 11th is Joey Parkhill. 12th, Rob Evans. 13th, Jake Rogers, who's probably going to be off the pace. Same with 14th, James McLeod. 15th, Melissa Alexander. 16th, Anthony McCrory. 17th, Dylan Poteet. 18th, Rafael Leduc. 19th, Michael Norman. 20th, Jessica Shelton. 21st, Benjamin Miles. 22nd, Cole Baker. 23rd, James Shelley. 24th, Joshua Sekuli. 25th is Chris Dollarton. 26th is DJ Curtis. 27th, Jay Jefferson. 28th, James Qualls. 29th, Matt McIntyre. 30th, Tim Fiegel. 31st, Jake Baskinger. And then 32nd, Cole Deaver. 6 laps to go here at South Carolina Speedway for the Burger King 400. Battle on for the lead between the Bradleys, Logan Bradley and Bradley Zorgdrager. Zorgdrager, and this is actually going to be his only season he's going to run here on this channel and part of this series, but he's definitely looking to make the most of it. Already has with a victory back at Atlanta, I believe. Looking for win number 2, but Joshua Collard, he's one of the farewell drivers who's looking for his first win of the season. Meanwhile, some cars are trying to get back up to the main pack after being held up by a couple of cars. Like Jake Rogers been holding up a number of cars, but now that some of them have gone around the 56, somehow, someway, the 51 and the 61 are still up to speed after being involved in that crash just now. But right now, we got Johnny Gardner up here at the race lead and future teammate Cody Lamas right behind him. Next season, Gardner and Lamas will be teammates. As meanwhile, Lamas, with a run on the inside, going to take that spot. But here comes Jonathan Zorleen, who won back at Rockingham last week. He's looking for his second straight win of the season and continue his ascension in the point standings. Oh, but they're 3 wide again. I got a feeling if a caution comes out now, the race is going to end. Let's watch. Wow, they came close. Phil Parker and Anthony McCurry came very, very close to wrecking each other right there. Zorgdragger takes the spot back. Joey Parkhill running in second right now. He's definitely trying to look for his first win of the season in hopes of breaking this bad luck streak he's been having all season. But meanwhile, you got teammates starting to race each other hard. Poteet and McLeod. In fact, this is the final season for those guys. Parkhill now has the spot, but they're 3 wide again. Oh, they're really pushing it right there, but somehow avoid contact. Parkhill has the spot, but Poteet now to the inside, with help from Phil Parker, who's miraculously still up to speed after he had been involved in that last caution. Rob Evans in that 88 car, who I believe has not won a race yet this season. He's third in the points and might even take the points lead over going into our next race, which I believe is Canadian Tire. Still got time as the white flag is out. No matter what happens, we finish to the start-finish line. Right now, Dylan Poteet is in the catbird seat for the win, but still you got cars running very close behind him that might have a shot at it. Rob Evans, if he can try and get that run on the inside of the 31, he might have a shot, but Poteet, he's got too much distance. One more shot off of turn number 4. Rob's still running lower on the track than Poteet is, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Checkered flag waving. Dylan Poteet wins the Burger King 400 at South Carolina Speedway. Dylan Poteet, and I want to say that's his first win of the season. Yes, that is, and he did drop out of the top 10 in points after Rockingham, but this is definitely going to put him back into the top 10 in points. But great performance on the 31. Somehow, someway avoided everything, even though he got like maybe minor contact in that last caution. Somehow came back and wins his first race of the season. But let's look at the rest of the results as everybody, well, not everybody, some cars stay out another lap, but some coming into pit road. Rob Evans so close again to getting his first win of the season, but still great points day in second, and I think he might take the points lead over going into our next race. Jessica Sheldon, who won at Darlington, which is another South Carolina track, so close to winning another home state track, finishing in third, however, still a great points day for her. And then Phil Parker, even with rear-end damage, somehow gets a fourth place run, and then Michael Norman, the second highest finishing rookie, finishing in fifth. Anthony McCurry, who even with damage, still got a sixth place finish. Carson Gum finishing strong in seventh. Melissa Alexander with a great run in eighth, and then followed by her husband Joey Parkhill in ninth, and then Cody Lamas rounding out the top 10. Then there's the rest of your top 20, your top 30, and then the rest of the field, and like I said, the bottom 5 were Zachary Fitzwater, Kyle Matthews, Dylan Jacobs, Charles Sanford, and Emmanuel Hardnett, so tough break for those guys. But anyways, thank you for watching the Burger King 400 here at South Carolina Speedway. Hopefully next time when we come back here later in the season, maybe they won't wreck as much. We'll see how things play out. But our next race coming up on Monday is Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and that's going to be intense. But until then, Here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Canadian Tire. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.